A lot of people left, and all the workers left, and people were, they already had the crops out there ready to harvest, so they didn't have anybody to pick them. So a lot of farms lost their whole crop.
You're not going to get an entitled American to come out and do the work that we do.
Soros, prayers, Soros. How dare these people get their degrees and leave when they are threatened? How dare they? How can we not exploit them any longer? And hone in on what he said, entitled American. Hone in on that for a second.
Aware of the need for agricultural workers, Jerry Spencer turned to unemployed Americans, but says after 2 weeks, most couldn't cope.
With the American workers, they all had to be taught all this and separate, and in addition to the fact that their bodies just were not built for it.
For over 40 years, John Alger has been in the farming industry. We saw some of the work his people do.
Some tractor driving, some manual labor. It's hot. There's mosquitoes out here. It's uncomfortable situation.
What do you tell someone who says, I'm not a farmer, I don't hire undocumented immigrants, this doesn't affect me?
Good for them. Get ready to pay more at the grocery store.
When you heard Donald Trump said they were stealing the blacks' jobs, y'all in your twisted mind thought that the blacks were going to magically appear back in those positions. The blacks were just going to be coming from everywhere to take on those positions. You had to have thought that. Because y'all not going to tell me that in your minds you were okay with losing your livelihoods. That you didn't have a backup plan to come in after the immigrants would be deported. You can't convince me.
Over 50% of people farming in the U.S. right now are going to retire in the next 10 years. Of those people, they own over 50% of the farmland in this country, which means what is going to happen when they retire in the next 10 years? What is going to happen to this farmland? Who is going to take their place? The amount of people coming in to take farmers' place since the 1980s has dropped dramatically.
I think people will look and say, but wait a minute, they're Americans who are unemployed. Why can't you just hire them?
They don't want to come out here and work in this extreme conditions, 100+ degree temperatures, dust, hard work.
What if you paid them more?
It doesn't matter. We pay some of the highest wages for farm workers in the nation, right here in California, and they won't come out.
It's quite funny and interesting to see how a lot of farmers came out to vote for this new administration. But this time around, whenever they are trying to ask, how do you feel about what is going on? What is your experience after losing a lot of migrants who've been working in your farms? These farmers, they are complaining. They think that after this undocumented migrant being deported, maybe they will get another rabble of people to come and work for them. When you are saying that a lot of American citizens don't want to come and work for you, and you've been the one who came out to vote for this, what are you saying? Make it make sense. You've been there thinking that maybe if these undocumented people get deported, you want black people to come and work for you. Do you think black people are the cheapest people to come and work in your farms? Now you are crying because all your seed are rotten in farms, and you no longer have any market to take your product to. Everything is getting expensive. Is this the FFO you are still passing through? Guys, let's talk about this today's episode. Let me know your thought and your opinion. Then you'll come back with more commentaries.
Nebraska, you fell for that shit. When he said that the illegal immigrants had black jobs, you thought that once they were gone, black people was coming to work your farms? Oh, yeah, y'all thought y'all didn't read between the lines. You didn't. He may have said that, but no, the illegals did not have black jobs. They had their jobs, okay? And now, Nebraskan farmers, those are your jobs. Yeah, they're all your jobs now. Because your illegals are gone. They're either gone or hiding. But don't get it twisted. Our jobs are doctors, engineers, scientists, chemists, nurses, CNAs, executive assistants, executives, directors, entrepreneurs. That's who we are. I guess y'all had it twisted all along. No black people are going to work on anybody's farms, okay? If you want to see that, go watch a fucking movie. All right, Nebraska. All right. Carry on. Go milk a cow.
So, apparently, Nebraska is going out of business soon, within the next 1 to 2 quarters. Why? Well, farmers to be exact, or farms. They can't seem to find anyone to work their fields. Nebraska, I wonder why that is. Could it be the racist rapist that you voted for that literally told you he was going to deport about 80% of your workforce, but you voted for him anyway because you wanted your bragging rights? That's right, you wanted to own those libs. Well, congratulations, Nebraska. You won your bragging rights, but now you lost your livelihood, and I have 0 fucks to give to you.
I tell you what, I think the only people that have fucked around and found out harder than federal employees that voted for Trump is farmers that voted for Trump. This farmer voted for Trump. Now his family farm is barely getting by. The Thomases took a 10% hit when the Trump administration abruptly cut $1 billion from 2 programs that supplied local produce and meat to schools and food banks across the country. 2 things Republicans hate: schools and food banks. Said the financial insecurity makes my depression worse, Jacob said recently. He was trying to remain optimistic, reminding himself it was still earlier in the year. Just because one program went away, there's still plenty of time to pivot. Though the Thomases and many of their neighbors voted for Donald Trump last November, the consequences of this administration's wide-ranging cuts and uncertainty over tariffs have already had a profound impact on this hilly corner of northeast Kansas, one of the hardest hit states for agriculture during Trump's last trade war. It says for many, the pride that they felt when President Trump spoke of his love for farmers in his March 6th address to Congress has given way to a growing sense of helplessness, frustration, and anger. How did you not learn from his first term? It's like people have no memory. Their hate and fear of having a black woman for president could cause them to lose their family farm. And I bet they'd vote for him again if they could.
Have y'all seen that lady from Nebraska? Don't worry, I'm going to put it down here. She was one of the ones who came out and said, we voted for this and we regret it. She's one of the ones that's actually remorseful, not one of the ones that's coming on here going, yes, I asked for this, but please don't tell me how it's my fault that my consequences are affecting me and not just the people I hate now. I don't want to hear it, okay? Not that we don't care about them. But this one, they're cattle farmers. And I guess Nebraska's on track to go bankrupt in like 2 quarters. Okay. And the most interesting part of the piece that she put up, and I'm not saying this to throw shade, I'm saying it to emphasize what's up. Okay. She says, we knew that they were going to be coming for the undocumented. And here, almost everyone's a farmer of some kind. And 70% of our workforce is immigrant labor. And while we knew they were going to be coming for the undocumented, and we knew 70% of our workforce was going to fall into that category, we still supported this. And now thinking about it, I'm going to say it one more time. And now thinking about it, they realize it didn't make sense to support something that went against their own interests and to put their support in something that is now feeding their own demise. And I appreciate her for coming on here and giving these updates and just saying, with each time, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like in retrospect, I can't believe I did that. In looking back, this made no sense. I did it anyway, knowing it didn't make sense. I appreciate her for that. Because we've got too many that are just incapable of doing that. Just incapable of saying, wow, Yeah, I convinced myself to go against my own interests. Why did I do that? Like, that is work. That's self-work. Okay. And that's what we have room for. We have room for people that are like, wow, I now want to look into why I convinced myself to do something that was not going to help me. Why did I do that? We need more of that. We need more of that. And less people going, yeah, well, I'm just going to hold on to my hate and rage and anger, and I'm going to blame everyone else. And you know what? Yeah, I'm going to fight to keep my job. I'm getting a lawyer. Okay, I'm fighting this. I don't care if I asked for it. This isn't fair to me. It's not supposed to affect me. What about me and me and me? We don't care about them. Like I said, they can go fend for themselves. They can go fund themselves.
People need to know that these billionaires, these politicians, they don't play. Whenever they say that, when you vote for me, I'll do this, don't ever trust each and every word they say, because they try their best level to attract you in their policies to make you vote for them. When you farmers, even in Nebraska, you came out to vote for this, you never knew that you are going to go bankrupt. You never knew that you are going to lose all forced workers to work for you. You never knew that your crops are going to rotten in your farms. Now see what people has been telling you. Please don't do so. Please don't make these mistakes. Now you are complaining that people don't want to work for you. You see?
Racism is expensive, and corporations and billionaires don't care about you. This is probably breaking news to many who support and applaud mass deportations. Well, the people in Nebraska, the state of Nebraska, is starting to find out how expensive both of those things are, how expensive racism is, and how much corporations and the billionaires don't care about the working class, minorities, poor people, black people, and other non-billionaires. Well, here we go. So I hear Nebraska is on the brink of bankruptcy, although it seems that they have found a little band-aid to put on their self-inflicted gashing wound by choosing and supporting mass deportations, which hurts their farms because it takes away the migrant workers who, instead of waiting for ICE agents to go and round them up and jam-pack them into some of those private prisons like Core Civic, and continue to enrich the billionaires while they lose while the farmers lose their workers, the migrants decided to self-deport to places where they can be and be okay, and not be in communities of people who applaud and support mass deportations.
So no, we don't give a fuck about Nebraska going bankrupt in 6 months. Trump told you he's gonna do before you voted for him, and y'all voted for him. All y'all farmers in Nebraska voted for him because y'all admitted that y'all voted for him. So now in 6 months, all of y'all will be bankrupt. Go bankrupt. Maybe the rest of the red states will actually see what type of person he is, because he didn't give a fuck about you before. He damn sure don't give a fuck about you now. And that's y'all mistake. Learn from it.
Hey guys, I hope you all had a great weekend. I wanted to drop by today to talk about the Nebraska farmers situation again. And I know a lot of us, with all of the videos we had been seeing around, or at least I had been seeing around, a lot of people were saying, Nebraska didn't care about Nebraska, and why are we supposed to care about Nebraska, and Nebraska didn't care about Nebraska? How could Nebraska vote against their best interest by voting for mass deportation of their workforce. And I was saying, why would you purposely go to get rid of your workforce and not have a backup plan for the people that you're getting rid of, especially if your business is relying on that workforce? Your hatred can't be that blinding and that overwhelming that you can't think about your bottom line, especially when it comes to your businesses. Some of these farms have been in those people's home, have been in those people's families for over 300 years. You can't tell me you did not think about who is going to come in and replace these vital workers for your survival. One thing I do keep thinking back on is Trump kept saying during this campaign that the illegals were here stealing the blacks' jobs. He just kept harping on the black jobs, and everybody was like, what the hell is a black job? Well, this is just my perspective, or it's just my thought. I'm thinking that the Virginians and all the rest of the people who were depending on illegal immigrants for their labor, they kept hearing Trump saying that the black people jobs were being taken. I'm thinking in their minds, they were hearing Trump saying the black people are going to come back to those jobs. In my mind, I'm thinking they were hearing Trump says the black people are going to replace all those immigrants out in the fields and on the farms and all of that. I'm thinking that's what they were hearing. That's why they weren't messed up about voting to get rid of their illegal immigrants. They were thinking that the black people were going to step up and take those jobs back because Trump kept saying these illegal immigrants are stealing the blacks' jobs. And therefore, in their mind, they heard we were getting our 1,800 slaves back. They had to have thought that their backup plan, Trump was going to miraculously, somehow, magically put all the black people back out in those fields, on those farms, and they were going to continue to get their work done. Now, that's just my thinking, because you cannot tell me that you as a business owner would get rid of your workforce and not have a backup plan. You are not going to knowingly and willingly walk into a bankruptcy, walk into losing your business, walk into losing your farms that have been in your family for 300 years unless you thought there was a backup plan.
This story of farmers, it's not something which is going to end right now, because these people came out in a big number to betray themselves. I don't understand the reason why they still have the guts to come out and talk that they are regretting, they are losing a lot of money, their businesses is down, they are about to go bankrupt. What is the meaning of this? You all remember, this is not the first time DT do these things to farmers. Remember 2016, remember 2020, before Biden came in place, you've been there, block. DT made you to become block, but also in this 2024, you came out in a big number to vote for him again, because they sometimes said that racism is so expensive. You thought that these undocumented people, once they are deported, you are going to still running your businesses as usual. Government is still going to bail you out, everything. You will be getting each and everything as normal. Now see, this time around, you are the most affected people across America, in all states. You are crying, you no longer know what to do. Imagine When you talk about this Nebraska farmers, the way they came out all over internet saying that they are about to go bankrupt, and this is the same people who came out in a big number to made this decision last year to bring back this new administration in place. Now see what is going to happen to you once you lose your farms. Imagine what is going to happen once you go bankrupt, because it's what you are waiting for. After losing all those big markets, after having all those farming debts, how are you going to manage this situation? And many people came out to warn you, please, please, don't make such a mistake. You are going to regret. Don't do something like this. We don't want you to cry. Now see, a lot of farmers are quitting farming because you can't tell. You are spending a lot of millions of dollars in farming. You no longer have market. You no longer have anywhere to take your crops to. Even you don't have workers to help you. Last time, there is a video I came across with these farmers. He was complaining that a lot of undocumented migrants, they are the one who been milking their cows. Now, this time around, they no longer have anyone to milk their cow. And he's the one who is doing that job only with his son. How are you going to manage to milk all those cows? After thinking that when you vote for this, even if people get deported, you don't care. Now see, you are the main affected. This story of farmers is something which is not going to end right now, because even if right now there is a lot of people who are saying we are about to get in a food shortage, because once the tariffs came in place, you remember a lot of farmers stopped farming because you can't tell how are you going to farm something when you are doubting about the market. How are you going to supply your products at a high price? Who is going to buy it for you? Imagine you no longer have workers. Of course, you are going to use machine. Imagine that gas, that fuel you are going to spend on those machines, each and everything. They are very expensive. And you've been there dancing, celebrating, paying these undocumented people a few dollars per hour, $7 per hour, $10 per hour, working in your farms. You never even care about anything. Now see what is really happening. There is no more USDA. They have removed everything, subsidies. You no longer get anything. Now see, when people came out to say that the farmers need to be the main people to come out and support a good system, I don't understand why American farmers, they came out to do something like this. And you remember, you are the main. You are the main system to support American life. You are the main factors to make American life still moving on. Because if there is no food, you can't go to work. If there is no apple, tomatoes, avocado, fruits, everything, how are you going to work? And this is something which is going to affect you and all Americans, but you kept being ignorant. You came out to do something like this. Now see what is really happening. Why farmers are still crying? Why farmers are complaining that they no longer have, even black people, they don't want to work for them. Even American people don't want to vote to work for them. Why are they complaining? Thank you for watching today's episode. See you in my next video.